You're listening to a Wales or Wales production.
You're also listening to Wales.
Visit walesorwales.com for more projects and shows like this one. Hello, one and all, and welcome back to Train Station at 8, a video game music podcast. As always, we've saved you a seat. I'm Steven, and I'm here with my brother Bryan.
Hey there.
Hey there.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm excited to be recording another episode of this fine establishment.
Yeah, me too.
But hey, we have a friend along again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. You can stop acting surprised. We like having guests on the show. And it's Michael Birch, or also known as Flexstyle. Hello, Michael. Welcome to Train Station at 8.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Oh, thank you for coming on. It's definitely a pleasure. But for those out there who aren't as familiar, could you maybe give a little quick intro?
Sure. I've kind of made most of my name doing a lot of video game remixes for OverClocked Remix, of course. Mm-hmm. But I also do a lot of original stuff as well. I've released, I think, 7 or 8 albums at this point, one of which is an original soundtrack for a video game, the rest of which are collections of songs, a couple concept albums that have a theme throughout, and a couple albums, that are just collections of various songs I've created. Mm-hmm. I skew towards the electronic side, although I've dabbled in everything towards rock. I've done some rap. I've done a little bit of jazz. I've done this and that and the other, and that's why I call myself Flexstyle, because I try to be flexible.
Oh, you know, I was going to ask you that very question, so you're already ahead of me. Nice.
Sorry, I didn't mean to flip the script.
No, I don't run on a script.
Shoot,
in
we
fact,
don't have any material for the rest of this podcast. Our one question.
It's only a recent development that we put notes down, so yeah, don't worry too much about that.
That works for me.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's talk about what we've been listening to recently then. That's my favorite starting point, as it is always the starting point. But we got a twist this time. And that is that we're just going to talk about one thing per person. We're going to pick our favorite soundtrack, album, whatever, that we've been listening to recently.
Just one?
Just one. You've got to pick. You've got to make the tough choices in life, Michael.
One note from the song that you like the most.
And Bryan, I thought you could start.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, even with these rules, it was a little bit tough for me this week since I have been listening to a lot of podcasts recently.
Oh, interesting.
I've kind of wanted to catch up since I run a podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. I've been wanting to listen to every other Hearthstone podcast out there and just see what people are doing. Mm-hmm. Turns out there are enough of those that it's taking some time along with keeping up with my usual podcasts. So even like when I'm driving around and stuff where I'd typically be listening to music, I'll be listening to podcasts instead.
Yes. Yes.
And then I've been doing audio editing where it's difficult to listen to music while doing that. So haven't had a lot of chance.
Unless you're editing music, then it's pretty easy.
That's a good point, but I haven't been. Well,
okay.
I've listened to one song on loop, but that's
Gotcha.
a whole other story. But yeah, I think the one thing I will highlight is I've been trying to play some Hearthstone as well and get up on their ranked ladder. Mm-hmm. And good music to do that is a EP or an album called Singularity that was released by Masseve. And the reason I was made aware of this music is because one of my co-hosts on the Hearthstone podcast actually created this.
Ah, Andres, yes.
So yeah, this is his music. It's very much a like cinematic electronic type of score. He's actually creating it for like YouTubers and streamers to be able to pay license forward use. So it tries to stay, fairly general, so it can be used for a lot of different productions and a lot of different projects.
Yeah.
But I really like it. It's very like cool, sleek, modern kind of heart-pounding kind of music. So it's very good for like pumping you up to do well in a ranked kind of or a competitive scenario.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of his music. I like it. But I have a question.
Yes, sir.
if you guys at Hearthaholics want to stream Hearthstone, do you have to pay licensing fees to use Andres' music?
Well, we do use one of his songs for our theme song. So
oh, good point.
So I don't think he'd make us do that. But, you know, I haven't tested the limits of his career
yet. The guy's got to make some money somehow.
It's very true. But yeah.
It needs money. You get by on, like, good vibes and stuff in this business, man.
You truly are a
that
musician.
Is so true, considering that we have never made a cent and never planned to make a cent from podcasting. Just by principle, I'm going to agree with you.
Oh, dear.
One day I'm going to make a Patreon and have a 1 penny tier, and I will have made a cent. We'll see.
Good plan.
But yeah, it's really short. It's just like a 5-song EP, but if you're looking for, you know, for one thing, music to be able to use in your productions, or just some cool kind of sci-fi sounding cinematic music, it's really fun and really good. Like, the production values are excellent. So I've been enjoying that. How about
Wonderful.
you?
Oh, me? Well, I'm gonna cop out and say Sonic Runners again.
Oh my gosh, that was my other answer.
Michael, have you even heard of Sonic Runners?
I don't believe I have.
It is the newest entry in the Sonic the Hedgehog series on mobile phones, and it's an endless runner. So that's why it's called Sonic Runners. The game itself is okay. The soundtrack itself is glorious. It's one of my favorite soundtracks all year long. I love it. It's by Tomoya Ohtani, who has done plenty of Sonic and Sega stuff in the past. He knocked it out of the park with this one. I'm sure the listeners have heard us describe it 3 or 4 times already. But basically, it's driving piano and kind of a punk rock guitar, and it's just super duper fun. Can't stop looping it. Yeah, I really enjoy it. Only danger is when I was cooking, I kind of turned my my cooking adventure into sort of a pseudo dance. But there were open flames involved and knives and blenders, and so it was risky business. But I made it through all right.
Did you turn up them beats?
I did recently eat beets, so
oh my god,
that's thematic.
That's terrible.
Thematic is all get out.
It's so bad. I approve.
I'm not the first one to make that pun on a recording because Mega Ran did it first.
Oh,
Didn't he have a whole album about beets or
Soul
vegetables?
veggies.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Mega Ran has done most things
headspace
first,
for vegetable puns.
Yup.
I like it. Well, so my answer is not surprising, but it is heartfelt.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my answer too, but.
Before we move on to the next segment, Michael, what have you been listening to?
Sure. I think obviously I listen to a whole ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm all over the map, but, I think this week what I've been listening to most has probably been Infected Mushroom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great.
For those not familiar, that is some of the most well-produced, Psy and Goa. It leans towards Psy and Goa trance, but they do all kinds of types of music as well. They incorporate elements of rock, they incorporate elements of dub and reggae, and it's all very, very intricate sound design and just really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, I've listened to an album of theirs and I was a big fan. Like you said, just the pure sound production can keep you going from that artist.
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
From what I've listened to, at first I sort of feared that maybe they were being weird for the sake of being weird. But there's a lot of craftsmanship behind the music, and yeah, I really enjoyed my small exposure to the Infected Mushrooms.
Their Friends on Mushrooms series is fantastic because
Yeah.
you bring in a whole bunch of other artists that are known for having a rather distinctive sound, and you combine them with the Infected Mushroom duo, and then all of a sudden you've got this incredible combination mashup of styles that's just really, really neat.
Would you say electronic music is kind of your number one go-to, Michael? Or is
Yes.
it? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's where I've kind of carved my main niche as a producer, and of course that's what I listen to the majority of. I mean, I listen to everything, but it's definitely majority of electronic stuff.
Yeah, it's a natural fit with video game music as well. So
This is all very telling. Michael, you've been listening to electronic music. I've been listening to pop punk sonic music, which is completely my thing. In fact, it is my soul personified in musical form. And Bryan, you've been listening to music because of podcasts.
I'm listening to Hearthstone podcasts.
Yes, we're all squarely in our comfort zones right now.
We're all in character today.
That's great.
I mean, that's just because I didn't name the one thing I listen to most. I could name all kinds of fun stuff.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Some prog metal, some jazz.
I don't know why when you say prog metal, suddenly I feel like I've been listening to something prog metal and now I can't think of what it is.
You're not allowed to talk about it, Bryan. New rule said.
Prog metal thing I was listening to. That's confusing. Oh, well. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, all right, folks. Well, let's tackle the open question next, now that we're done with what we've been listening to.
Yes, sir.
And today, the question that I'm bringing to the table is, as a game series grows, the music changes along the way. That was the statement part. Here comes the question part. What are some of
how to answer that?
What are some of your favorite and least favorite instances of this? So hopefully that's clear enough. But basically, as a game series changes, what are some changes that you've liked and not liked? Michael, do you have anything that jumps out for you, or?
Well, I can name a couple instances of music changing, in what I thought was a favorable way.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything that sticks out to me at this moment as being the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm going to open up my Steam library and kind of see what's there.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the same.
For me, kind of the first franchise that got me into video game music in the first place, I would listen to the Rayman soundtrack for PC over and over and over.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, of course, the new Rayman games are just bloody fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
The music is upbeat and quirky and musically interesting, and just everything reflects whatever level it is you're in, and it's just fantastic.
I feel like in terms of, and I totally agree, Rayman is one of my very favorite modern soundtracks, especially in the context of the game. Like, the music plays along with the game in a way that a lot of other soundtracks haven't done before. But going on to that question about, like, something getting worse, I feel like a lot of my answers would have been, like, true until very recently.
Oh, interesting.
So, like, I think a lot of Nintendo properties, the music wasn't as good for a while. Like, I think Donkey Kong kind of became a lot less interesting. And I think that Mario for a while, apart from Mario Galaxy with the new Super Mario Bros. Games, is getting a little more boring. But recently, like, Nintendo's been in a music renaissance, bringing in live instruments and bringing back original composers. So they, like, just had a sharp uptick in the last couple of years. So a lot of those, like, easy answers before I wouldn't actually give right now.
Yeah, no, I'm completely on board with you. We've talked many times about how Nintendo has been nailing it, knocking it out of the park every time with their soundtracks. So that makes sense. It's almost hard to find a Nintendo franchise that hasn't been improving. But I think I managed to do it. Not to be the downer in this conversation, but for me, I'm kind of disappointed with the direction they're taking Animal Crossing.
Oh, sure. That's a good one.
And that was, perhaps, that was kind of, emphasized, I guess, with the E3 Direct conference that Nintendo put out. And they showed a little clip from the new Animal Crossing town or house decorating game. And that just takes that one aspect of Animal Crossing and turns it into, like, I guess, a downloadable, amiibo-fueled affair.
Yeah, I actually didn't pay attention to the music. I was busy listening to the other guy in our Skype call describe 1080p compared to 1080i.
Well, see, I was bored of that, so I muted you guys and listened to the music.
That trailer was somewhat interesting to me. I was just...
Yeah. But, like, regardless of the quality of the game, and I really liked New Leaf for 3DS.
Yes.
But regardless of that, the Animal Crossing series has slowly but surely been kind of pulling away from that unique kind of offbeat drum and bass kind of funky style the first one had. And now it's kind of going full on, like, cutesy. Like, it's very bubbly and very happy and very warm and inviting, and lots of very soft,
Right.
pseudo-orchestral music even. And the funny thing is, I feel like not a lot of people even realize that's happening or care one way or another, which is kind of interesting because beyond...
Animal Crossing only comes out every few years.
Yeah.
It's not frequently remixed. It's not frequently brought back to the public consciousness. So I don't think a lot of people are like tracking how that music changes over time.
Despite KK Slider being quite the central figure.
Oh, yeah.
Little dude with a guitar.
I'm really, really going to try to get that KK Slider amiibo.
Yes. Man,
It's like the mascot of Train Station today. We've got to get that.
I have a plush KK Slider sitting on my desk. He needs a friend.
Totally.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of my example, because I just love the original Animal Crossing soundtrack so much that it's just, they haven't been able to capture it since then. But how about you, Bryan? Was there one that you've enjoyed specifically?
Well, Steven, I know I haven't talked about it much on the show, but I think Ace Combat had a really interesting transition over its 6 games. I actually have talked about that a lot on previous episodes, so I won't go in depth, but I think it definitely improved for the better over time and kind of found its identity by kind of continuing to mature and move away from just being a crazy arcade soundtrack. And becoming a lot more. So I appreciated that. I mean, I think a lot of games have seen an uptick. I guess I'm kind of curious, like, is there a general trend you notice? And is that like, I guess when you're like taking retro games and bringing them to the modern day, we've talked about that a bit before, but do you typically find they get better? It sounds like from our discussion that we do, like, because I hear a lot of people complaining that in the modern day, you know, melody is less prominent. Things are more, ambient, but it sounds like
it's true in the film world, I'd say, but in the video game world, I think we're in like a golden age of music right now.
I'm kind of with you there.
There's so much good music out there, both in the indie and in the AAA realm. You know?
Yeah, and a lot of the games that you could accuse of having film soundtracks kind of started with them, like Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty. Like, they kind of always had those types of soundtracks.
They haven't had many years to change.
Mario now is being composed by Hans Zimmerman.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, especially when a modern, well, not that exact scenario, that hasn't happened yet, but the general idea does happen. You know, you see Castlevania get rebooted.
That's a good point.
It goes from melodic, you know, prog metal Transylvania hybrid to really powerful, like percussion heavy orchestral soundtracks. And I know a lot of people didn't like that, but I don't think it happens as much as you might think. I'm kind of the mind that video game music is actually getting better every year as more people join the industry and more people start listening to it and enjoying it. And
I agree, especially as people, it was actually largely like the remixers or OC remix were the people who were like examining old soundtracks and understanding what was good about them and kind of creating new versions of them, be it through chiptunes or through remixes. I find that whole kind of community is now making soundtracks for games. So you have stuff like Shovel Knight coming out. So even if you miss like old style soundtracks, those are literally being released in new games.
Yeah.
So
Shovel Knight's a Vert soundtrack, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and of course Vert was one of the early main contributors to things like OC Remix and VG Mix and things like that.
Yep.
He's also, if you listen to him, you know, he was a demo scene guy too.
Yeah.
Right.
So for those unfamiliar with that, it's basically take, you know, as little as possible in terms of code and do the coolest things with it on screen. And he would be one of the guys who did music for that. And that scene has probably some of the best musicians in the world in it, honestly. It's really credible.
Yeah.
It's a podcast tradition to mention Vert on every episode.
That's true.
It's just that good.
All hail the mighty Birch.
Pretty much. But yeah, there are composers like that now. So you're getting your film style soundtracks, and you're getting your 8-bit soundtracks, and you're getting your quirky indie soundtracks. It's like, I feel there's just more game music, and the quality of it and the attention to it is just getting broader and broader every year. So.
Yeah, and
I've actually used some Mighty Switch Force tracks in my DJ sets in the past too.
oh, that's great. I love Midas Switch Force. It like Sonic Runners is very good to dance to while cooking. Or while DJing, if that's a verb.
Sure.
But
I can't think of a lot of series that I'm just like, nah, it's no good anymore.
I mean, that's great. Music. That's really, it almost seems like every single series that I look back to, I think, I like the old stuff, but I really like the new stuff as well. Even just sticking with Sonic the Hedgehog, I think I'm one of the rare people who actually prefers Dreamcast onward to the Genesis soundtracks. And I love the Genesis soundtracks though, but,
I think it got cheesier as time went on. It's still enjoyable.
It did, but there was a certain amount of cheese that had, the original, at least when Sonic 3 and Knuckles started coming out, you had like the Michael Jackson vibe, little samples of Come On in the background. There was definitely some cheese going on, but you're absolutely right. It started to get silly, but I kind of grew up with that. I like the silliness. And once you kind of look past a few of those kind of hair metal jazz intro points, there's a lot of pretty strong music, but,
right.
It's I'm kind of with you, Brian. I'm glad you came to the same conclusion.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think Final Fantasy, I've never been into that series, but it still seems to be musically really strong.
I can't really speak to that. I love Bravely Default's music. That's kind of Final Fantasy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think that game music, if it hasn't legitimately been getting better, it's at least doing even more new, different stuff, so you can find what you like somewhere.
Yeah, it's much like games in general.
Just like video games themselves.
Yeah.
Very true.
I totally agree with you, Michael. I think in terms of gaming and game music, it's really a golden age right now, so.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well said. Well, in that case, how about we move on to news from the city? Cover a few goings on in the video game music world. And the first one I have here is from E3, which is why I wanted to mention it before. And I'm sorry if I pronounced this name wrong. We're not Japanese linguists by any means. But Keiichi... Thanks, I've been wondering about that one for years. But Keiichi Okabe is back composing the successor to Nier, the beloved and hated RPG that had some really beautiful music. That was kind of a shocker that they're releasing that game at all. Michael, are you familiar with Nier and its music?
Only vaguely, and only because I recently judged the track on OCR that remixed Nier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I remember that track, actually. I have a friend who just goes around trying to convert Nierists, essentially.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm pretty sure Nier is his religion.
Yeah, probably so at this point. And so I did listen to the music. You know who else likes that music is Jason Napolitano.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's really beautiful music, amazing vocals. I'm curious to see what they're going to do for the new Nier game. So,
that game's really interesting as well, because what people complained about the original Nier largely was the fact that it played terribly and was broken, which, is a problem. And this new one is being developed by Platinum. So they, made Vanquish, they made Bayonetta. They're known to make pretty quality games, that Avatar game notwithstanding. So the fact that someone with that caliber is coming to work on Nier, and then they're bringing back all of the art and incredible soundtrack and emotion from the first one, I think they could get something really special done there. So
yes.
At the very least, I'll have another Nier soundtrack to throw into my iTunes.
Right. Oh man, that's amazing. I still have so much to listen to on the old one.
Totally.
Hey, speaking of amazing music, have you guys played Super Smash Bros. Recently?
Yes, sir.
Have you downloaded Ryu, or is that how you're supposed to pronounce the name? I always forget.
I think it was always pronounced Ryu.
Ryu.
But that's how I always heard it.
Well, we're going to go with Ryu because that's easy to say and seems correct. So have you downloaded Ryu yet? He's the new playable fighter.
I have not.
Through the eShop downage
Yeah. Oh man, the whole thing went down the day that went up. Ryu and a bunch of other cool stuff dropped on the eShop and dropped the eShop as well. But they included a new remix of Ryu's theme. And you speak of video game music advancing or changing or being taken more seriously, a solo like that just would not have been in any games 5, 6, 7 years ago. Or at least it would be in very few. And now it's just dropped as DLC for a downloadable character. And that alone just makes me real happy.
Yeah, it's really cool to see Nintendo implementing so many different original and well-produced remixes for their series, or even for other people's series.
Yes.
Even if, they throw in a DLC stage, they get, like, the original composer from Street Fighter to go back and make remixes of the music, and toss, like, eight songs per stage in there, so...
Yeah. Hey, Michael, are you much of a Street Fighter guy, or at least a Street Fighter music guy?
I am at least somewhat familiar with the Street Fighter music, thanks to a lot of OCR stuff.
Yeah.
There was the, Blood on the Asphalt OCR album that I was a big fan of before I even became a staff member. Past that, not really.
I'm kind of the same way. I've dabbled in the games. I can't get into them, but I do respect the music, that's for sure.
My Street Fighter experience is mostly just playing Street Fighter 2 and throwing fireballs at people repeatedly trying to cheese them.
Yeah, yes, and doing cheap
experiences being beaten very badly by anybody I played.
Okay, Michael and I are brothers in arms when it comes to this topic. I'm the same way. Though I did briefly master E Honda's 1,000-hand slap, which made me proud. And by master, I mean I actually could pull it off consistently. I probably lost that skill.
You just rapidly tap the button, right?
Yes.
For the game Dive Kick, where it's just two buttons to dive.
Yes.
I'm actually good at that game. I am not good at any other fighting game.
I need to play that. I'm okay at Super Smash Bros. I'm all right at that game.
Yeah.
So now I can just play Ryu in that game, so I don't have to learn the combos.
Yeah, you can still do them though.
Oh, that's true.
I was going to say you can still do combos with Ryu.
That's a good point. I suppose I should say I don't have to. Oh, and my last little bit of news here that I wanted to bring up is, remember when I said Adventures of Pip, composed by Jake Kaufman, is a great soundtrack?
Yeah, that was like a week ago or something.
Yes, and then I said it wasn't out officially. Well, that has changed. It is out officially. So you can go download the Adventures of Pip soundtrack. It's lovely. It's beautiful. So
this is another Vert soundtrack.
Yep.
I'm on twice already.
And it's very un-Vert-like. It's not high-paced. It's not dancey. It's not even, really high energy and, almost a parody like Shovel Knight. But, it's, very, very, I don't want to say serious, but it feels like it takes itself seriously.
It's peaceful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's like kind of orchestral, stuff that you haven't been able to hear Jake Kaufman do much before. So. Yeah. It's exciting to see him expand his horizons and get different types of games to do.
And
Steven, I was just going to put you on a spot with a question real quick. Was there anything else from E3 musically that like got you excited? Or is it all just pretty much like, oh, that's going to be more music from that series?
Yes. Probably seeing the Star Fox gameplay and little trailer thing they put out got me excited. It wasn't anything surprising, but Star Fox soundtracks always stick with me in some way. Maybe, okay, I'm not going to say always. I'm going to say all of them except Star Fox Adventures. and Command.
For me, probably that new 3DS Zelda game. I forget what it was called.
What was the music like?
Majora's Mask remake?
No.
Or is there a new one that's coming out that they announced that I didn't hear about?
They just announced
a new one they announced at the Direct this morning. It is called, let me see here, Zelda Triforce something. Triforce Heroes? Yes.
Triforce Heroes.
Basically a follow-up to Four Swords, if you ever played those games.
I did. I played those games.
Yeah. Like, it's a multiplayer. You play as a bunch of different colored links and cooperate together and just basically go through Zelda dungeons. But the music was just phenomenal. Were you listening to the music when they were playing it, Steven, on the Direct?
I was. I mean, my attention was split between the Skype call we had going, the Twitter stream I had going, and the gameplay footage on screen, but I was listening.
Yeah, you can just pop it in behind us in the episode here and people can look up the trailer, but it was really good. It had a great style to it and it was not just typical Zelda fare. So I really appreciated it. It was probably one of the only moments I remember watching all these press conferences that the music like just stood out to me. So.
That's cool. Yeah, I kind of had the same experience despite my distractions. Michael, did you pay attention to any E3 stuff this year?
Not really. The only thing I really watched was or at least part of the Nintendo World Championship.
Oh, that's what I missed. That's cool.
You know,
nice. So you got to hear
fun to see all that.
Plenty of like Double Dash soundtracks.
What?
Baby Park. Or no, it was Mario Kart 8.
I was gonna say the parts that I was tuned in for was some Smash Bros.
Nice.
And of course the head-to-head stuff. I was there for the very, very tail end of it.
Oh, nice.
They had those two guys, Cosmo and John Numbers, going against each other.
Those are really good names.
Mario Maker stuff.
Oh, cool.
Neat. I need to check that stuff out. I'm sure they're going to have it archived, but
I can't wait to see what they do with the Mario Maker music.
Oh yeah,
seems like
an interesting point. I'm not sure what they're doing with the music for that.
I know they're taking like the Mario Paint cue and kind of bringing some of that music back.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the music is going to change depending on what graphical style you're using, because you can switch between like Mario 1 and Mario World and New Super Mario Bros. And I know the visuals change. I wonder if the music changes.
That's a good point.
I think they were just using like actual game rip stuff basically for whatever style map it was.
Oh yeah.
For the ones that they showed anyway.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, that's another game that has me musically excited, I guess.
Yep. A lot of Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, well, it's often Nintendo stuff.
Yeah. It's hard to know a lot of the other soundtracks because you don't have a point of reference for it. It's like, well, will probably be good, but all I saw was the trailer, so.
Yeah, and you never know if trailer music is actually going to make it into the game or if it was produced by someone, outside just to score the trailer. So you can never get too excited about that.
I mean, I was extremely excited to hear Star Wars music in Battlefront, but it was just Star Wars music.
Yeah, who did that against? Like Jonathan Willingham?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I can never recall that one.
Wilberforce Dijon?
I think so.
I think that's it. That's definitely it. I'll put that in the
Jake
show
Kaufman.
notes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably was. Time traveling Jake Kaufman. Okay, well, that's all we got for news for the city. And that leaves us with our final segment, Train Your Brain, which is the official train station at a quiz show. And Michael, we're going to put you on the spot with Bryan as your personal helper as I quiz you on some classic video game soundtracks.
Wait, are they actually classic?
Well, some of them.
This is where I bet you this is going to come and bite me too, because confession time, I've actually never played through most classic games. I just know the music from OCR stuff.
Well, I'm using classic in the loosest of senses here. I actually have a theme going, so here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to play 10 seconds of a given song, and you guys can see if you can ID it. And you'll get bonus points if you can figure out where the song plays in the game, and just normal points if you can just guess what game it's from.
Gotcha.
But you have a clue. And the clue is these are all underwater levels, or underwater zones in a game.
Mario!
Correct! Ding, ding, ding!
Okay.
All right, so let's go for it. Song number 1.
All right, so I'm going to say that was probably underwater.
Any clues?
Well, it sounds like a Super NES title of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe PS1.
Yeah. Sounded a little bit N64, PS1.
You want to hear it again?
Maybe like DS.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like, it's just...
No?
I'm kind of stumped.
I'm kind of guessing I haven't played that game, or if I did, it was briefly.
All right, close your eyes, Brian. You have played this.
Okay.
So, hear it one more time.
Oh my gosh. I'm so close to guessing that. It sounds like something Nintendo, maybe Mario, but I cannot place where I've heard it.
Okay, so you're giving up on this one?
I'm giving up on that.
I'm going to have to give up on this one. I don't know what it is.
Okay, you guys were pretty close. You were off. It's not as old as you think. It's actually a GameCube game.
Okay.
And it is a Mario game.
Is it Mario Sunshine?
It is Mario Sunshine.
Oh.
Okay.
And it's called...
Which level is that?
Well, it's called Deep Sea of Mare. And it plays, I believe, at the bottom of Noki Bay when you're chasing around a fish made of coins.
Yep.
So that was a bit of a kind of an obscure one. A lot of people have forgotten about Mario Sunshine or haven't played it in years.
It does have a lot of water in it. So.
Yeah, so I had to include that one. All right, this one will probably sound more immediately familiar.
Don't ask me
That's got to be Mega Man.
But what Mega Man? Like, there's so many.
Well, your clue is...
Oh, no.
It's a water level.
I know. And it's not Frogman.
Splash Woman. That's Splash Woman.
You got it. Ding, ding, ding. It is Splash Woman
I know that
stage.
because of Mega Man. Thank you, Mega Man, for making a song Splash Woman.
Mega Man has helped us out twice so far.
Thank goodness. The true winner of this quiz is Mega Man.
Yes.
Okay, nice job, Michael. We've got song number 3, though, so guys, put your heads together for...
Okay, that's definitely Super NES.
Oh, yeah. And I played it. It could be something Donkey Kong Country 2 or something. It's not Mario World. But yeah, totally agree that it's SNES.
Yeah?
I was gonna guess DKC something as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's very moody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds
it's
like a
very
platformer
Dave-wise.
level as well. I can imagine like dying and having to hear that starting again.
Right.
Ooh! Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
I'm gonna go with my guess is Donkey Kong Country 2, but I'm not positive that's correct.
And I'll hedge your bets and say Donkey Kong Country 1. Just
Okay.
All right, guys, it's Donkey Kong Country 3.
I haven't played that.
It wasn't actually Dave Wise then.
Oh, the cruelty. It's Waterworld from Donkey Kong
That's
Country
hilarious.
3.
Which is kind of, that's the one soundtrack I should be most familiar with because I kind of co-directed the DKC 3 album.
Yeah, well, Donkey Kong Country
yeah.
3 has some weird music in it.
Man, we were so dang close.
I mean, you guys jumped in right away. It's an SNES music, SNES soundtrack, I should say. It's probably Donkey Kong. So you were like,
yeah,
we
were all the way there.
We were right
3/4 of the way there.
And we guessed 2 of the 3 possible options.
Okay, well, we're halfway there. But water song number 4.
My only instinctual reaction is the tropical part of Dark Cloud 2, but I don't think that's correct.
It is the tropical part of Dark Cloud 2!
Wow.
Honestly,
that was very
for that one, I was really depending on your ability to catch that flute synth.
Yeah, it was the flute sound that did it for me.
This
That's
plays
crazy.
at Venetio, I don't know how to pronounce it,
I
but
can see the place in my mind.
yeah, it's kind of an island inlet sort of area in Dark
Redeemed
Cloud 2.
myself after the Donkey Kong 3.
Michael, have you played Dark Cloud 2 before?
I have not, even though I've remixed the title theme.
Oh, yeah.
This is a theme, man. You just keep remixing things you haven't played. It's awesome.
Well, that's what I do.
Yeah, it's-
you're right.
I kind of have to.
Yeah.
You don't have
Most of the
time to
things
play
I've remixed,
games.
I have
You're
not actually
remixing
played
them
it.
too much. Yeah,
Exactly.
I know. Honestly, as a Sonic fan, it's usually safest to listen to music and not play the games. All right, so song number 5. Put your thinking caps on for...
Well, it's NES.
That's definitely NES.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna save you the trouble if not any guess.
Wait, what?
Okay, then it's Game Boy.
Yes, okay. It's just putting you on the right track. Now I'll stand back and let you do the hard thinking.
Well, because the Game Boy DMG chip and the NES chips are actually very, very.
Yes, they are. It's a
good point.
common
And it
mistake.
kind of has a militaristic kind of sound with that snare drum or noise channel trying to sound like a snare drum.
That's correct. It's underwater military base from nondescript Game Boy game.
It reminds me of a little Bionic Commando, but I think that was Game Boy Color.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Mega Man. I don't even know if Mega Man was on Game Boy. I think it actually was.
It was, but it's not Mega Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't either. I don't know Game Boy very well at all.
No clue? Okay.
No.
Well, it is actually Under the Sea from The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages.
The first thing I thought was Zelda. I should have gone.
Yeah, you should have gone with the gut instinct.
Wait a minute. Oracle of Ages. Wasn't that Game Boy Color?
Was it Game Boy? Well, it was on the Game Boy. It's one of
I feel misled.
Would it have helped if I said Game Boy Color?
I don't know why. It might.
I've never played it, so
We're all good.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have guessed that either.
Okay.
I was just trying to find one that was underwater that you guys might
I
know.
was trying to find one that we couldn't get.
Yeah, I just wanted to mess with you. All right, well, now it's time for question number 6, which is going to be the hardest, most
Mario.
difficult, grueling question in the entire quiz.
Mario. No. It's Sonic.
Hydrocity Zone.
Yeah.
Several dings in a row. Ding, ding, ding. You guys got it
There was
right.
like a whole album about that zone, right?
I think Hal C did one of those.
Okay,
And then,
yeah.
of course, Benjamin Briggs' Trash FM.
Oh, yes. Yes, you're right. I almost
That's-
forgot about that.
That might be one of the most used songs in my sets when I DJ.
Aha, nice.
It's really good.
Obviously, that's kind of burned into my brain.
Okay, so wild card. Do you think this was ripped from Act 1 or 2?
I think 2.
Played it.
I think 2.
It's 2.
It has a long intro to
Yeah.
it that reminds you of like Act 2.
Yeah, where you're falling down in the water and sliding around. Okay, so to recap for Train Your Brain, you guys missed Deep Sea of Mare from Mario Sunshine, but you got the series right. You nailed the Mega Man 9 song, which is the Splash Woman stage. You almost got Waterworld from Donkey Kong Country 3, to the point where I kind of want to discount it. You amazingly, out of the blue, got the Dark Cloud one as well.
Haha, out of the blue. That's hilarious.
Brian got it.
Yeah. Collectively,
Just so we're clear.
collectively, you. You totally missed Under the Sea from Oracle of Ages.
Sure.
But no doubt that was because I failed to say color when I mentioned the Game Boy. And lastly, you immediately got Hydrocity Zone without any trouble at all.
Yep.
So you guys did pretty well, actually. You got, at least half of them right, and you got bits and pieces of the others.
4.5.
Yeah, so I'm proud of you. Good job, guys. I'll give you. Oops, I hit my microphone. But I still believe you did a great job. Yeah.
Go us. It's hard to beat. Who was it? Was it Shark that was just like nailing every question?
Well, of course, Shark. He's like the video game encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little scary.
To the point where he wasn't even letting me finish the songs.
No, I was of no help to him.
Yeah, that's
And it was
true.
about Sonic music. I should know that.
I know. Well, you were really the sidekick in that case, amazingly. All right, well, let's bring the show to a close, heading to the outro. Michael, thank you very much for hanging out with us on Train Station 8 tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great.
And Brian, you know what? I'll say thanks to you as well.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I finally feel validated.
Well, you deserve it. You helped out with the quiz so much.
Huzzah.
If you want to visit us on the internet, you can go to whalesorwhales.com, and our show is there. Whales Are Whales is the network of podcasts and shows that are kind of like this one, with people kind of like us. So you can find Brian's Hearthstone podcast there, a storytelling podcast that we run, and other neat things as well. And of course on Twitter, Gmail, those sorts of places, we're always Train Station at 8. We'd love to hear your ideas, your thoughts, if you want to be on the show, hit us up. We'd like to have you on the show. And Michael, is there anything you would like to plug for our audience while you're here?
Let's see. Obviously, I have to plug my Bandcamp site, which is where I sell my music. Flexstyle.bandcamp.com. There are a couple things on there that are name your price. Most of it is a reasonable price for the amount of music you get. Let's see. I think I will mention the album I'm directing for OverClocked Remix that should be out hopefully in not too long, where we're just getting some things tied together. It's been a little delayed, but we're getting there.
Exciting.
Super Cartography Brothers album, which is basically taking a bunch of Mario franchise map themes and redoing them in strictly EDM style stuff, DJ friendly kind of thing.
What a cool idea. I like that.
Yeah, that's another Dark Sword concept, and he, brought it up in the forums, and I was like, I can do that, so I did. And I got some of the best EDM artists in video game music out there to contribute.
Can you?
So that should be coming out this year at some point.
Can you let us know anyone who's involved, or is that top secret hush hush right now?
No, not top secret at all. Myself, Blind, Crew Eye from the Sonic album that OCR released a while back. Yeah. Rob KTA, one of my Game Chops level mates. Who else? Funk Fiction, who is a fantastic funky house producer. And many, many more that I can't name off the top.
Sure. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'll definitely keep my eyes open.
Seriously, some of the best stuff ever.
And ears open. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I really like that theme idea. I like it when people go a little beyond just a game or a series and, look for specific elements and find a genre that fits those specific elements.
So if you were to recommend people to pick up one thing from your Bandcamp store, which one would you recommend?
I would recommend that they pick up my newest album, which is the Perfect Getaway album.
That's a fun one.
That's my most up-to-date one. And then, of course, if you follow me on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Flexstyle, you will hear all kinds of stuff that I upload. Other side projects that I have, including my band and some other stuff I do. And I upload a lot of DJ sets there as well. So a lot of the stuff from Super Cartography Brothers is actually hidden in DJ sets, so you could kind of hear it before it's actually
released. Cool. Go treasure hunting.
Nudge, nudge.
I just said go treasure hunting for an album that's going to be about maps.
Oh, man.
That's not so bad. I got that in the front out of the blue line, so I am on a roll with wordplay. All right, well...
Just steaming forward here on this train.
All right, well, I think it's time to end our roll, though, because we've run out of time, and it's time to move on with our respective lives. So thanks again for hanging out with us, Michael. And for everyone out there listening, we'll see you next week.
Choo-choo.